Hi, aloha.
Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
wow. Oh, wow, this is serious. Oh, hi, aloha.
I'm
Hi.
librarian here. Thank you for coming.
So nice to have you all. How you all doing back here? Hi, Ed Case. Hi, aloha. Hi, aloha. How are you? How are you doing? Aloha. How are you? Wow, I got plenty of people over here. Usually when I come to give away the books, you know, there's not that many. This is like the biggest group I've ever had to give my books away. So this is cool. What would you like to do?
Okay. First of all, we would like the kids to do a little welcome for you.
Okay.
Aloha e, aloha mai, ha. Aloha e, aloha mai, aloha e na Hawai, mai ka mokupuni o kia wela, ai ke one hinu hinu o ni ihau, e a e o a huala, a ala I ka pua ka ilima, ua a pua kea o ko olau, kalana ka inoa o Kipapa, puana ia me ke hau Ōlelo, aloha ia Mililani ku'u one hau nawe.
All right. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Aloha, everybody. Aloha. Thank you so much for having me visit Kipapa. It's so great to be with you all. And first of all, apologies for being late. I really appreciate you all staying a little bit late to give me such a warm welcome. That feels very, very good. And so for all of the teachers and students here, it's great to be here. It's great to be home. So I work in a place called Washington, D.C. How many of you have been to Washington, D.C.? Oh, quite a few of you. Have you been into that big building that I work in called the U.S. Capitol? There's one over there. Have you been to the U.S. Capitol? Over here?
I've seen it.
You've seen it. You know that big, I don't know, I should have brought a picture of it here. Maybe it's over there. It's a big white dome building that with a beautiful statue on the top, which we call Victory. And that building in Washington, D.C., 5,000 miles away, is our nation's capital. That is where our government is. That's where our president is. That's where our Congress is. That's where our Supreme Court is. And that is where we make the laws for our country and basically try to run our country from. And that's where I work because I'm a member of the United States Congress. And so let's see, I'm going to maybe snap quiz here. I don't know if I should do this or not, but okay. So what is the U.S. Congress? Anybody know the answer to that? Okay, you back there. That's exactly, well, that is right. One of the things we do in the U.S. Congress is that we try to talk about throughout our whole country, how are we going to improve our schools? And how are we all going to come together to improve our schools and give all of our children and people a good education to get a good head start in life? But in the U.S. Congress, when you think about the U.S. Congress, there's two parts to the U.S. Congress. This is kind of a tough question, but does anybody know the answer to that? So we have the United States Senate, and they are called senators. And we have the United States House of Representatives, and we are called representatives. So I am a representative. And how many representatives in the U.S. Congress from Hawaii?
4.
Okay, go ahead. I already gave you the answer. Okay, go ahead. 2. 2 U.S. representatives from Hawaii. And how many U.S. senators from Hawaii? Go ahead.
4.
2. So we have 2 U.S. senators from Hawaii. They are Senators Schatz, Brian Schatz, and Mazie Hirono. You may have seen them on TV and read about them. And we have only 2 U.S. representatives from Hawaii. So we have 1.4 million, 1,400,000 people in Hawaii. And we only have 2 U.S. senators. So all of you are really good at math. So that means that I represent how many people? 1,400,000 divided by 2. 700,000. And so you are my constituents, and you are my bosses. Think about it that way. You are my bosses because you and your families elected me to Congress. And so you said to me, Mr. Ed Case, I'm going to send you to Congress to represent me and everybody I know around me, and I'm going to send you there to help us govern our country. But don't ever forget, Mr. Case, that I'm the one that sent you there by my vote, right? And so most of the time I'm in Washington, D.C., a long way away from here. But this week I'm here back home, which I live here still. I live in Hawaii. I don't live there. I just work there. So I do a lot of flying back and forth. And my job is to go there and to come home and do what I'm doing right now, which is to check in with everybody in my district and see what's going on with you and ask you questions. And today is a lot of fun because today what we're doing is we participate in the surplus books program from our Library of Congress. Has anybody heard of the Library of Congress here? Okay, you go ahead.
It's a very large library in Washington, D.C.
It's a very large library in Washington, D.C. That's correct. Actually, the Library of Congress is the oldest library in our country. Have you heard about a president called Thomas Jefferson?
Yes.
He was a very, very early president, and he actually founded the Library of Congress with his own library. And this was in 1800. It's also, the Library of Congress, the largest library in the entire world. And my staff knows, because they just told me, but I've forgotten, how many actual books are in the Library of Congress.
720 million.
720 million books in the Library of Congress. That includes online. And so this is a very important library, and as you can tell by the title, Library of Congress, it's Congress's library. And so it is my library and yours through me. And every once in a while they have too many books, or they have double the books, and they ask us all to give them to places that would treasure these books. And so I'm here today to give you my books from the Library of Congress, all the way from Washington, D.C. And I hope you will enjoy them very much. And I'm going to stop talking here pretty soon. But I loved libraries when I was growing up. I grew up in Hilo, Hawaii. You all know Hilo? Yes. Okay. How many people have been to Hilo? Lots of people have been to Hilo. What's going on in Hilo right now? Merry Monarch Festival, right? You all gave me a very nice song when I came here, and today we're celebrating our Hawaiian culture in Hilo through the Merry Monarch Festival. But I spent all my time, or a lot of my time growing up, reading books. And I was a regular at the Hilo Library, the Hilo Public Library, and in my schools there, in a library kind of like this. And I had favorites, and you know, sometime, maybe after we're pow here, I'll go see whether I can find my favorites. But the bottom line is that for me, I never would have been a congressman had I not loved books growing up and read a lot, because it taught me a lot, and it gave me a good, solid foundation. So I know you're all here because, I hope you're all here because you love books too. But please carry that forward as much as you can, and find the kind of books you like. You know, some of us, we like this kind of book. Some of us, we like this kind of book. The main thing is go out and read the books that you really, really like, and try some different books every once in a while. So we've brought you kind of a sampling of books of different kinds, and we hope that you use them very much.
Aloha. My name is Keilana.
And my name is Shazura.
And we are both members of Kipapa's Library Club. On behalf of students and staff of Kipapa Elementary School, I would like to thank you, Congressman Case, and your staff for donating books to our school library. We're grateful for your time and effort in coming here and bringing in these books from the Library of Congress Surplus Book Program.
Our library club is projects based off of books, and we help to keep the library tidy. In 2019, we renovated our library, school library, and these books will make a great new addition. And now we have our student council officers who will be giving you a special treat.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh wow, that's so cool. I've got the special Kipapa Elementary bag. I see it goes with my lei, by the way.
We would like to thank you, Congressman Case, for coming to our school and giving us books from the Washington, D.C. Library of Congress.
We are so happy that you have decided to visit our school, Kipapa Elementary. We are very grateful for your kind gesture of giving us these wonderful books.
Your visit to this school and the books you have given us is so important. We hope that you've enjoyed your visit at Kipapa Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was really good.
Hello, my name is Caroline, and I'm one of the library club students. And today we would like to start our Q&A session. But first, among us we have some of our Cougar Council reporters that help us view our school-wide news broadcast.
Oh.
And now I will start. Why did you want to become a congressman?
You know, basically I wanted to become a congressman to help people. It's really that straightforward at the end of the day. I believe that the best way to live your life is to help others in whatever way you can help them. And so what you need to, and I believe that if you live your life to help others, you will feel far better about your life. You will feel happy and meaningful in your life. I guess you could live your life just for yourself, but I think that might get a little lonely after a while. And so how can you help others? And I think we all try to find a way to help others. And some of us help others by being teachers. Some of us help others by being doctors. Some of us help others by being scientists. Some of us help others by being librarians. And some of us help others by being people like me, politicians and elected public officials. And for me, this was where I felt I could help the most. So that's why I wanted to be a congressman.
How does it feel to be a congressman?
How does it feel to be a congressman? Feels pretty good to be a congressman. But I'm responsible for making decisions that will impact all of you. And that's my responsibility because you've given me, by your vote, the responsibility to make decisions for everybody. So the decision that I make in Washington, D.C. can impact your life very much. And so when you have that responsibility, you take it seriously. And so how I feel about being a congressman is that I'm responsible every single day for how my country will go, how my state will go, and how my constituents will go, and how each of you will go based on my decisions. And so, that's a lot of responsibility to carry. So I've been doing it a while, so it doesn't overwhelm me or anything like that, but I think about it all the time. Usually when you're a congressman and you have those decisions to make, and you have people that have different opinions about what we should do in our country, and sometimes they're yelling at each other. Sometimes it's an unpleasant job, to be honest with you, but you still have to do the job and you still have to make your decision. But overall, I feel not necessarily happy every day, but every day I feel like I'm making a difference.
What's your favorite part about your job?
My favorite part about my job, I really enjoy being back in my district, talking one-on-one with my constituents, things like this. There are many parts of my job that are very, very interesting. For example, 4 weeks ago, I got to go to Asia, to Japan and to Korea and to Taiwan, as part of Congress, and I met with some very, very interesting people like the president of Taiwan, who was just in our country last week, the leaders of those countries, and that's very interesting and enjoyable even. But what I really enjoy is what I'm frankly doing right now and this week, because when I'm home, I try to communicate and meet with the people that I represent as much as I can, because I want to explain to them what their government is doing, and I want to listen to what they're concerned about and what they think we should be doing. There are people in Congress right now who believe that somebody should be able to approve whether you get to take it out or not. And the reason, there's a good reason for that. Sometimes parents or other people feel that that some of the books here are maybe something that they don't want you to read, or maybe they want to explain it to you, or maybe they just want you to know that they want to know that you're reading it so that they can, you know, kind of read it with you or talk about it with you. And books are a way of learning. And when we read books, we learn about our world, for better or worse, right? I mean, our world is not perfect. And books explain the world to us. Yeah. I know, that was what, 2 years ago? Thank you. Thanks so much for being okay. Como mai. Thank you so much. Aloha. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is our gym. It was donated by the sorority club. This is where most of the boys love to hang out in here. We have lots of...
Not the girls?
Oh, we love to hang out here.
Yeah.
But, you know, after a while it gets kind of smelly in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But we have a variety of whole bunch of sports. Right now it's basketball and talking about championships.
What sport do you play?
Volleyball.
We both play volleyball. Do you play volleyball here?
Yeah.
Oh, so is there a volleyball court? Is this a volleyball court? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you put up...
over there.
Oh, I see. I see. Oh, wow. This
Well, we
looks
actually
nice.
have championships for basketball this weekend.
Oh,
And
really? What kind of championships?
So every club on the island comes together and then we all verse for the big one.
Yeah. So it's a good place to hang for a few hours? And I guess you have... Is 4th grade the earliest you can come here?
First grade.
Oh, 1st grade. Ah, wow. What do you like about it the most?
It's like a safe place for me, and it's like my second home. And I got to meet a lot of new people, and the stuff here are very good.
Do most of the people here come from Washington Middle or all over?
They do. Most of our students are from, but we also have some from Kaimuki Middle, Stevenson, have a full bunch.
Okay. All right, let's go check it out.
Basketball team. It's a playoffs.
Playoffs for the basketball?
Yeah.
Ah, so this is all of the boys and girls clubs?
Yes.
Oh, I see. And you're Spalding?
Yeah. And it's gonna be here.
Where's Halepono?
Halepono's in Ewa Beach.
Oh, that's Halepono. I've been there. Okay. So this is the big game this weekend then?
Yes.
These are both here?
Or all of these are gonna be.
Oh, you're going to have the championships this weekend then?
On
So
Saturday.
everybody's going to be down over here?
Yes.
Are you a basketball player?
No.
Are you a basketball player?
No, I'm a volleyball player.
Volleyball. Do you have a similar thing for volleyball?
Volleyball season was before this season.
But I mean, you play and you have a playoff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Go Spalding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At least while I'm here.
Yeah.
How's that?
This is James. He painted the mural downstairs in the Center of Hope. He's also a club alumni.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so him and his friends have been doing this all week for us.
Oh,
It's a fresh and young.
that's nice.
How long have we been here? 4 years for this.
So James, right?
James, yes.
James.
Yes.
When were you here?
When?
I mean, as a member.
Oh, I was 91 through like 2007, something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, I've been here for a long time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
91. How
I
old?
was
How old?
6.
6.
I got here when I was 6. Yeah.
Were
yeah,
you
yeah.
living around here?
Yeah, I live by Kamiki High School
Oh, I see.
in Mililani.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, yeah.
uh-huh.
So I used to walk here.
How did
catch
you find
buses
this
here.
place?
My mom needed somewhere for me to be in the summertime.
Yeah.
And then the starting age was 7, but I had to come here 1 year early. So she used to just drop me off every morning, like 7 o'clock, and then
During summer?
yeah, go to work, and then from there I used to come after school and stuff like that. So
But that was what, Kamiki Elementary? And
I went to Kamehameha School at the
yes.
time. Yeah.
Did you come here afterwards?
After school, yeah. So when we had basketball leagues and stuff, my grandpa used to bring me after school and play. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time here. Like, we used to have the keys to this place at one time. So yeah. It's
like literally
home.
the keys to it?
Yes. We used to open and close in high school. So it was, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but but that's how like.
I know that if
we
I
were
had the
here,
keys here during high school, it would be a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
Yeah. I just got a job working with vans as a designer,
yeah.
so that's what I'm doing now. And I'm only here for like 8 days, so I fly back tomorrow.
Oh, you don't live here?
No. I've been gone for a month now. So yeah.
Living on the mainland, or?
Yeah, in Vegas actually right now. Yeah.
Cool.
But I love it up there. I love it here too, but it's just getting too expensive and resources is limited or becoming more limited. So I just made the move.
So what did you get out of the club growing up? I mean,
everything.
Fundamentally.
Fundamentals. That's the word. Is just growing up in this neighborhood. Just how to operate. Just how to respect multicultures. Respect your elders. Respect the community. So many things. How to respect females, how to treat people like family and respect other people's differences, and there's so many things. Taking care of your house, like cleaning. We had a small house, so this is like a big house for us to clean. And then like lifelong friends, like for life. I have brothers and sisters from here, and my daughter plays with them, and I see them. I see some of my nieces and nephews in here.
Oh, really?
Playing and stuff
like the next generation.
Yeah,
generational.
Yeah. Yes, and it's super cool.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, thanks for sharing.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. For Discovery Zone.
Oh, right.
And this is the place for elementary. So this is kind of like their center of hope in a way, but not really. This is a place where they all meet, put their bags down, talk story, and they do a lot of homework up here.
So it's going to be really noisy and shortly.
No, when they come, it's
it's a zoo.
Even a half an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be a zoo.
I can see that. Yeah.
This is also where they do. We have a partnership with Hawai Agriculture Foundation. This is where they do a program called Kids Cooking Local. So they, the goal is it's like farm to table, local ingredients. So the kids get a recipe made by a local chef with local ingredients. They cook it here. Sometimes the chef comes down with them and cooks it, and then they take home the same ingredients and they cook it at home. And then they also visit the chef's restaurant as well and get, he cooks for them instead. So it's a pretty cool program.
Right on.
Hey guys, this is Congressman Case.
Yeah. How's it? Aloha. How are you? All right. Did I just meet you? How's it?
Good afternoon.
Aloha.
And I think they want to challenge you to
Oh yeah. Wait, who put you up for this? Somebody put you up.
So far, you're stripes and I'm solids.
I'm stripes?
Yes.
Okay. Is it my turn or your turn?
It's your turn.
I'm stripes. Oh, I get one mulligan. This is a lot of pressure. Are you guys better than me or what? Could you have done that one?
I'm pretty rusty.
Oh.
Me too. Haven't played in quite a while.
I got to get at least one in here. Let's see. Wow, you didn't leave me any good ones. How about that one? Can do that one maybe. Woohoo! All right. Thank you.
Represent Boys and Girls Club.
Did I go out?
Yeah!
Okay. How come you pick it up like that?
I don't know.
What kind of game do you play? You can pick it up and put it wherever you want?
Yeah, because I hit stripes and I'm solid.
Oh, I see. So you did what do they call that?
Scratch.
Scratch, yeah. But you don't have to go behind the line? Oh, you can put it wherever you want?
I guess you can put it wherever you want.
Okay.
Anywhere to put yourself in a good position.
Just kidding, got you.
Ah. Woohoo!
GG, man. GG, Thomas. Good game. Good game, man. Good game. Game.
Good job. Good job. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go.
Congressman Ed Case is here to visit us from Washington, D.C. He's also a native to Hawaii, and he brought you guys some really amazing books that he's gifting to the club. So could we have a couple of you guys come up and take some pictures with him and maybe take a look at some of the books?
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, come on.
You know an old lady. I know an old lady. Let's see. Who likes wizards and fantasy and everything?
I love wizards.
Wizards. Let's see. Who we got here? We got.
She wants to hold a Korean one.
Here's another wizards one.
I'll take this one.
Okay. How about chess? You guys play chess?
This one seems pretty interesting right here.
Okay. Yeah, take that one. These are kind of older, younger than you guys, but I guess these are all the children's books. Try,
I got chess.
how about treasure hunt? Some kind of a game. Okay. Oh, here. There you go. That's a good one. A surprise for Caroline. That's a good book. Here. First day of school forever. This is about, what do you call it? Ghosts. Okay?
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me and my staff in my office on a beautiful Friday evening in beautiful Honolulu. I think we all realize we're one of the best places in the world right here, and I really appreciate your spending the time with me tonight. And welcome to your Congress, because this is your Congress. I am Ed Case, and I am your congressman, bringing Congress to you. I represent Hawaii's 1st Congressional District. The 1st Congressional District is one of 2 congressional districts here in Hawaii, and I represent the district that is really urban Honolulu, Honolulu proper, which runs from Makapu'u Point on the east all the way through this side of the Ko'olau, all the way out Pearl City, Aiea, Waipahu, up to really just the edge of Wahiawa. So I have all of Mililani, Mililani Mauka, and up to Wakiawa, then back down through Ewa out to the edge of Kapolei. So that is my district. The 2nd Congressional District is the rest of the state. And in my district, I represent 710,000 residents of Oahu, and on any given day, 100 to 200,000 extra people in our district here. Oh, and we ought to recognize my brand new constituent, my newest constituent, who was born just a few hours ago. Ka'imi, the Hawaiian bonk seal, gave birth to her 5th pup at Kaimana Beach this afternoon. So welcome to Ka'imi's pup. I really appreciate representing Ka'imi's pup as well. I live here. This is my home. It has been throughout my entire life. But in my current job, I work 6 months a year plus in Washington, D.C. In fact, if you add up all of the time that I spend in any one year, I probably spend 7, even up to 8 months a year in D.C., somewhere else in the world, or on a flight, and about 4, maybe 5 months if I'm lucky here. And it is very, very easy under that circumstance to fall out of touch with your constituency. Washington, D.C. is 5,000 miles away from here, a 5th of the way around the world. It is a different world. It is a different culture. It thinks differently. It acts differently. It doesn't necessarily understand us out here in the Pacific, out here in Hawaii. And therefore, since I am there, and that's where my job is, it is really, really critical to me and to the functioning of my office and my own duties that I stay in touch with you. And I try to stay in touch with you in many, many different ways, as many ways as I possibly can. One way is by just simple newsletters, just sending a newsletter to your house a couple of times a year. A couple of you have shown me that, so I'm glad you're getting it. I also send out an e-newsletter about once every 3 weeks to a month to 5 weeks, somewhere in that range. Please sign up for my e-newsletter, which you can do at mail.house.gov, which I'll say a few times here tonight. I also, through my e-newsletter, often do an online survey. I just did an online survey, as a matter of fact, to ask you that got my e-newsletter, what your priorities were. I asked you very specific questions about some of the issues I'm facing, for example, Ukraine and China. Please use that. I meet very frequently with my constituents, you individually or through the groups that you are members of in both Washington, D.C. and here in Honolulu. In D.C., please come and visit my office if you're in D.C. or around D.C. I love having you there. We'll try to show you around. A couple of you already have told me you appreciated a tour of the Capitol that we provided. And then when I'm home, which is, a district work period is what we call it, since it's not a recess, that implies you're kind of in the sandbox cruising. And we do anything but that when we're home. I try to get out as much as I can to interact with my community wherever I can. And then finally, I do community meetings like this. Now, before COVID came along, I would do frequent talk stories. And the fact of the matter is COVID interrupted that. And so this is my first full week of having personal talk stories in 3 years. During those 3 years, I hope I did keep in touch. I ran about 48 virtual town meetings, talk stories, roundtables, Facebook Lives, trying to stay in touch any which way I could. But there is really nothing that replaces this for me. This is democracy at its purest. This is me reporting to you as your congressman. This is you telling me what you think, telling me what you think I did right or wrong, and giving me your thoughts so that I can absorb all of that into this job that I have. My mission is threefold. I have three separate parts to my mission as United States representative representing you. Part one, what our Constitution says my mission is, which is to represent my district in our United States Congress in the great issues of the day for our country and given our country's role in the world, for our world. And so these are my obligation to debate, to decide, and to vote in this great democracy on all manner of issues. And these issues are anywhere from, again, what to do about China, what to do about Russia, what to do about Ukraine, how to save Social Security, how to protect our world's oceans, how to allocate funding between our military and our non-military, a topical issue if for sure. These are issues and decisions that I have to make regardless of whether I'm from Hawaii or Idaho or anywhere else. And these are countrywide responsibilities. That's mission number one. Mission number two is about Hawaii. How do I help Hawaii from the federal government perspective? We've got a big old federal government, and our federal government has many areas where it interacts with all of us in Hawaii individually or as a state. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, but it can always be improved. And so my job is really to figure out exactly how I can assure that our federal government is maximizing its support, its assistance to us here in Hawaii. And I do that through a variety of means, but my major means, which I'll get into, is the Appropriations Committee, which is basically federal funding. And then finally, third part of my mission, to help you with your issues. Now, every single one of us has some interaction with our federal government, whether we like it or not. We pay taxes, we get Social Security benefits, or we hope to get Social Security benefits. We are veterans and get veterans benefits. We have immigration issues. We have a variety of issues that are really run and administered by the federal government. And for the most part, I hope and believe that works pretty well. But oftentimes, people can't get answers on their issues. People cannot get satisfaction on the decisions that the federal government has made, and they simply need somebody that knows what's going on in our federal government to help. And we want to help you with those issues. I'm a member of a very interesting caucus that I think is very relevant to our Congress and our country today. Actually, I'm now the vice chair of that caucus. It's a 64-member caucus, and it's called the Problem Solvers Caucus. And this is a fascinating caucus, which is, by rule, half Republican, half Democrat. And it's pretty simple. We try to get out of the noise machine. We try to get out of the TV news in the morning or wherever you get your divisive, polarizing news from nowadays. And we try to have a dialogue. And we try to see whether we can come to some agreement. Now, hey, we are still Democrats and Republicans. We still have our definite beliefs. We still have major areas that we disagree on. But we've decided that we want to see whether we can actually systematically solve some of our nation's toughest problems. So think about the bipartisan infrastructure package, which I'll talk about. we had our hands in that last Congress and actually got that one done. We are working right now on our national debt, our national deficit, our debt ceiling, a very tough issue. Inflation, cost of living. A crippling, pervasive, invidious, if you want to put it that way, economic condition that we've learned the hard way. When inflation takes over, it's really, really hard to get rid of it. And so you don't want to go there to start with, but when you get there, it ain't no easy fix. You can't like snap a silver bullet and inflation goes away. And when we look at what happened with inflation this time around, which is, you know, the worst inflation in quite a while, we can look back and actually see what happened. Functionally, what happened, I'm talking nationally now, and internationally, because every part of our world has and had a version of inflation over the last couple of years. Some for reasons that are slightly different, but everybody had inflation. And everybody's trying to work their way out of it right now. But basically what happened was that during COVID, we, the federal government, flushed a lot of money out there into the economy to save it, to save our economy, to save our communities, to basically save our country, I guess you could say. And we spent trillions of dollars. And so that money all went out there, all the way around communities. It went to, you know, state governments, it went to businesses, it went to individuals. And that was not all spent. So A, there was a lot of money out there. B, it was saved up because we weren't spending it all during COVID. And COVID also caused a severe disruption in supply chains around the world, which are actually quite interdependent and fragile if you want to think about it. They can be disrupted pretty easily. So we start coming out of COVID, we've got a lot of money out there, we've got disrupted supply chains, and all of a sudden we have a lot of demand for fewer supplies. And that causes prices to go up. And that's what happened. Crime, and especially guns throughout our country. Incredibly tragic crimes out there, especially gun violence throughout our country. We have seen an increase in overall crime across our country, an alarming increase. Here in Hawaii, we still do have some of the lowest crime rates in the country, especially violent crime. We're down about the bottom 10 or right around 10 or something like that. Property crime is a little higher. We've always had that. We've always had a little bit higher property crime and a little lower violent crime, including gun violence in this state. Nonetheless, it is up here, and we're all feeling that. So the perception that we all have, the correct perception, is it's not as safe as it was. We've had, you know, horrific crimes that we've seen just in the last, you know, couple of weeks. And so this is a critical issue for us all to face right now. My job from the federal perspective is twofold. Number one, we do have federal agencies that directly contribute to crime and law enforcement, crime prevention and crime, you know, consequences, and to law enforcement across our country. The FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, cyber crime, which everybody should be worried about. And I try very hard to fund those programs. I just met with the head of the FBI here along these lines 2 days ago to walk through, okay, what exactly do we need to be doing? But they need funding, and sometimes it's very unique in Hawaii, as I already talked about. And so I try to fund our federal folks and make sure that they're working. But also, we have major federal programs that do help our state and local partners. So I try to boost that funding up so that they have the tools they need, because almost all of our, virtually all of our law enforcement is down at the state and local level. We don't have a whole bunch of direct federal enforcement except for, you know, federal crimes. And so what I try to do is to make sure that HPD has the tools, communities have the tools that they need to deal with recidivism, keep people out of crime situations to start with. So that's where I kind of enter into that picture, and we've been successful in raising those amounts. Let me say a word about gun violence. Incredible tragedies, Louisville just a few days ago, Nashville, and on and on. An epidemic of violence, a health epidemic, a declared health epidemic. I now want to talk, in wrapping my part of this up, about resources for you to stay in touch with me, for you to get information about me, for you to get information that you want, for you to get the aid that you need, whether it's about my national mission or my mission to help Hawaii or my mission to help you with your individual concerns. So number one, my website, case.house.gov. Please sign up for my e-newsletter. That's the easiest way for me to contact you about what I'm up to. And like I said, I send it out about once a month. Sometimes I don't, I try to do it when I have something important to say. Sometimes that's once every 2 weeks, or sometimes that's a little longer, but whatever it is, it's a regular way for you to stay on top of what I'm doing. Communication and contact. I welcome your communications. I welcome your contact. The information is on my website.
I live in Hawaiian Estates, and I live near the memorial, and the helicopters are just insane. It's like living under an airport there. And prior to COVID, I did a town hall in Aiea, and that was the #1 issue, was the helicopters. During COVID, it was great. There was no helicopters. Now there's helicopters again. And I know that you've been working on a Safe Skies Act, and so I'm just kind of curious where that's at and how that's going.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for your comments and your question. We're going to have to, unless the tour helicopters somehow decide to self-police themselves, which they're not going to do, evidently, and unless the Federal Aviation Administration, which regulates them, decides to be more assertive about safety and community disruption, which it's not going to do, we're going to have to change it at the federal level and at the state level. And so I have introduced legislation to do just that. And actually just yesterday, speaking of which, all 4 members of the congressional delegation, Senators Schatz and Hirono and me and Representative Tokuda, introduced 2 bills. It's the first time we've all done it. So I guess my colleagues got the religion too. So we're all on the same page now, and I hope that that's a step forward. There's also a resolution going forward in the legislature right now, which I just submitted testimony on yesterday, that is along the lines of the state legislature trying to help on this. So, we're trying to kind of close the loop around them a little bit.
My name is Tina Liu Tong. I work as a psychologist at Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center.
Oh.
I used to work at the VA, so actually this is kind of a segue into mental health. And my question is regarding mental health. I don't know if that's one of the priority areas, but definitely mental health symptoms have increased during the COVID pandemic. And from 2021, there was 31.6% of adults in the U.S. reported symptoms of anxiety and depression, up from 11% in 2019. So there's definitely a need for increased services for mental health. And also, deaths due to drug overdose, primarily kind of driven by synthetic opioid use and misuse. And so I was just wondering, congressional efforts or community efforts to increase services in shortage areas. I really love your vision of the Pacific Islands Caucus, because I think that's definitely a strong way to provide these substance use and opioid use disorder professionals.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mental health is a critical part of the federal effort, and yes, we saw incredible, unfortunate, and in many cases tragic increases in mental health challenges during COVID in particular. It was rising before that, so it is a challenge throughout our society. COVID just accelerated it for a period of time, and we have been slow to catch up, really, to be honest with you. We have drastically increased federal support for mental health programs in communities over the last 3 or 4 years. We've really ramped them up, and I think that is making a difference in the communities, through health programs, through educational programs. Talk about veterans. That's the area for our veterans that is really the primary concern with our veterans now are mental health-related issues. It's much less of a stigma than it ever was, thank God, right? Because the last thing we want is a veteran to be, you know, hiding away somewhere just suffering from something that they need help with.
Good evening. I come here in the interest of the opioid crisis, but being on the side of being a chronic pain patient, what it has done to us. I want to thank you very much for having your live event on this issue, because Heather Lusk from the Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center saved my life last year by getting me hooked up with somebody who would resume my prescription for opioids that I had had for over 25 years. And Kaiser cut me off because of the drug politics. And marijuana is actually a very useful drug for people who do have pain conditions. So my question is, what are you doing to make marijuana out of the Schedule I drugs? Because that was the entire reason that I got cut off from my opioids, because I also have a medical marijuana license. So that's what I'd like to know.
I want to, number one, acknowledge everything that you said, which I agree with in principle, pretty much everything you said. It's very hard to get drug policy right. It's always such a gray area. But let me answer your direct question, because I'm going to answer you and then we've got some other people behind you. So I do not believe that marijuana should be a Schedule I drug. And to clarify for everybody that anybody that doesn't know all of this, so our federal government classifies drugs by various schedule based, in so many words, on how dangerous they are. And Schedule I is a dangerous drug. And marijuana is classified as a Schedule I drug. The consequence of it being classified as a Schedule I drug is not about federal marijuana laws, which there are very few, if any, because each state at this point is making a decision as to how they want to treat marijuana. Some states have decriminalized it altogether. Some states like Hawaii have effectively decriminalized it and also provided it to be outright permissible for medical purposes. And some states haven't gone there. And I believe each state should be able to make this call. So I think this is a state decision. But the Schedule I classification prevents those states and the people in those states from the full range of activities to deliver what is legal in that state. And so, for example, you have the interesting situation where, because marijuana is a Schedule I drug, anything that has to do with financing the legal growing and distribution of marijuana becomes very problematic for banks. Banks can't give their customers, a legal medical marijuana grower, the ability to go out there and finance on regular terms. And so you have this really weird stuff going on where they're walking around with piles of cash going down to pay their bills. Well, we don't want that. So your direct answer to your question is, I don't think that marijuana should be a Schedule I drug. I have voted in Congress to take marijuana off of the Schedule I, and I've written letters to that effect to the administration. They haven't done it yet, but that's what I've done.
I'm 17 years old. I go to the high school right across the street. And I'm wondering what can be done and will be done to stop and prevent the use of drugs in our schools. I think it's a really big problem. I mean, I can't even go to the bathroom without there being kids vaping in there. And it's not even vaping at this point. Nationally, there's a war on drugs. So what's to stop there being fentanyl? Next week. So again, quite simply, what is going to be done?
Thank you so much first of all, for participating. Welcome to Congress. You know, drug abuse, I should say, is increasing, and fentanyl is a real problem. And talk about an issue that should never be politicized. Never be politicized. It's fentanyl in this country because people are dying. We thought it was a mainland problem for a long time. It ain't a mainland problem. It's a problem here. There's lots of causes to it. In terms of your actual experience at school, obviously we have law enforcement that tries to get into, especially into the school environment, and make sure that it's not a dealing ground and breeding ground for drug use way early on. Your experience tells me that that's not being successful. Not the only person that's told me that. From a federal perspective, we try to fund our state and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement here through programs such as the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, what we call HIDA, which is a coordinated effort to go after drug importation and distribution through our state. We spend a lot of money on that. There are other federal grants that are dedicated towards trying to prevent drugs from coming here and eliminating drugs once they get here and prosecuting especially dealers once we catch them.